Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in yet again. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the newest offerings from Spyderco. This is the Spyderco Schempp Bowie. Initially this was called the Schempp Frontier, but apparently the name Frontier was licensed under another company, and so they renamed it the Schempp Bowie. Now we'll do the normal format. We'll go into the specs, overall impressions, details on the knife, and then I do have another ethnic, since this is part of their ethnic series, I do have the Navaja, so we can do some comparisons between the two. So this is what it ships with in your standard Spyderco box. Here is the model number for those who are interested. And let's get into the specs real quick then. So the handle length on this is about 4.7 inches. The blade length is about 3 3/4, and then the steel is S30V, weighs in at 4.6 ounces. Thickness in the pocket is about 0.415 inches thick, and then the width at the widest portion is about 1.35 inches wide. So anyhow, those are the basic specs. It is manufactured in Taiwan, as all of the best Spydercos are. And it does use the thumb hole for opening, wire clip, left and right hand tip-up carry only, and there is a lanyard hole. So those are the specs for the most part. So overall impressions, I've been a fan of the Ethnic series for quite some time. Stylistically, I think this design, you're either going to love it or hate it. You're going to gravitate towards one of the two. I don't think there are going to be too many people that are neutral on this design, but I think it's quite striking, quite a beautiful overall package with the, the brass bolsters, the carbon fiber look. It is a faux carbon fiber of sorts. I'll get into that later. And just this really beautiful take on a clip point style blade. So, Ed Schempp designs things. He is a function over form type of guy. So everything that he designs is an excellent user. It's designed to be carried every day, and these, they cut tremendously well. S30V is always a good blade steel. So overall, I really like it. There are a few things that are weird compared to kind of my normal forte with knives or my normal carry options or handle options, but I'll get into that a bit later. But I think it's an excellent offering. It's something interesting. It's something exciting. And so I have no regrets about picking this one up, especially at their price point. At the best prices you can find on these are about 160s, and those are with Cutlery Shop and Knife Works. Other places they're going to be about $20 more, but for the mid 100s, fantastic knife. You really have nothing to lose by picking one up. So anyways, those are my overall impressions. No surprise there. Spyderco always delivers, especially from Taichung. And Ed Schempp has been designing knives for a very long time. So, all right, let's get into the specifics on this knife. So as I mentioned, it is a clip point style blade, S30V, with a flat grind. That's obviously ideal for kind of EDC tasks. It's a great slicer, and it came very, very sharp. It is shaving sharp, so wonderful use of materials. You do have kind of vertical striations in the primary grind here, and then the flats have horizontal striations, so nice differentiation between the grinds there. Beautiful swedge on this clip point style blade. So again, I think it's an interesting blade shape. I think it's very attractive. It's just something out of the norm. Taichung, Taiwan, the factory they work with there, the Schempp logo, and then just the designation Spyderco and S30V along with the Spyderco logo, and then the Spyderco hole, which functions as its own trademark of sorts. So anyways, deployment is really good. You can use your middle finger, you can use your thumb, and this knife is very smooth. It's as smooth as my Gale Bradley. You can open it fast or slow, but yeah, it's really smooth. It came tremendously smooth out of the box. So their phosphor bronze washer knives are terrific. So this one is no exception. So I really like the smoothness. It just feels like a really quality knife, and it is. So yeah, all right. Here's one of the most interesting aspects of this knife, and that is the brass bolsters that are designed in kind of that S shape. So if you can imagine, I don't have a Bowie style knife, but you know, just imagine kind of a straight handle. You come up to an S guard, and then you have this clip point style blade. It would be more, it would be certainly more straight. But because Ed Schempp is the designer, obviously he has designed it in a way to make it as a useful cutter as possible, I guess we should say. So brass style bolsters. Now, one thing about brass is brass over time will develop what's called kind of a patina. So as you get your oils all over it, you know, and if you don't clean it, it will pick up, it'll change color a little bit. So as an example, taking a look at my Marinez diver, you can see some kind of discolorations all around it, and that's called the patina that it's developed over time. And I could clean this and it would be back to the spanking shiny newness that this one now has, but I kind of like the patina that's developing over time. So anyway, so you can either clean the brass or you can just let it develop that patina and the discoloration of sorts. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect it. Now, brass is a softer material, so this one will, you know, with use, it is going to scratch. It is going to develop some character, so that will be interesting to see how in a couple years everyone's will look different. You can force a patina, which a lot of people do on watches if you really like to, but you can Google that and you'll come across a lot of different methods. All right, now we get down to the handles. Coffin style handles, coffin shape, which apparently was prominent with a lot of Bowie style knives back in the early 1900s or so, in the times of the the frontiersmen and Manifest Destiny moving across the plains and so on and so forth. So it is comfortable enough, fairly ergonomic as far as the handle shapes go. It does use their kind of faux carbon fiber. Basically, it's G10 and then with a layer of carbon fiber on the very top. So it produces the carbon fiber look, but is easier to work with, less expensive to produce. And they've used it on a number of different knives, such as the Navaja, the Gale Bradley, so on and so forth, the Sage 1. So there are quite a few that use it. It works fine. I really have no problems with it. Does use stainless steel liners. Lockup is about 60%. When I first got this one, it did have a little bit of lock stick, which is odd considering that it's stainless steel on stainless steel, but that worked out in a matter of hours as I was flipping it to smooth it out. So, or opening it and closing it. I guess I wasn't really flipping it. So anyhow, you do have the blackened wire clip here. It does carry deep in the pocket, has good retention, but also has a good amount of spring, so it works well in and out of the pocket fairly easy. So lanyard hole on the back. One thing that I really like is the protrusion that they left on the stainless steel liner here. So you can see it sticks out a bit further than the brass bolsters, and that makes disengagement really easy. No drama, no difficulty, unlike the recently released Spyderco Rubicon, which didn't have any protrusion or cutouts. So that was nicely done. Again, makes for a good user. The transition between the materials is very, very nice. And I love the kind of the golden on the brass with the black carbon fiber with the stainless steel. I think it's just really attractive, the way that the materials kind of go together. Makes this certainly a piece that kind of shows off a little bit more than others, but really nice transition between materials. Everything's been nicely contoured and rounded, so again, as you would expect from the Taichung factory. Now, here's the weird thing about this knife, the thing that I don't quite get, and that's the way that you hold it in the hand. So this S-shaped guard right here, what happens is you take this in the hand. Normally when I hold knives, I'll hold it like this and put my thumb on the back, and you can kind of do that here, but it forces you pretty far down on the handle to get to a comfortable position. So here I am all the way down on the handle, my pinky's kind of halfway on, halfway off, and ideally I'd like to be all the way on the handle and kind of have my thumb on the back, and that's the traditional, that's the way that I'm used to holding my knives to get a really secure grip, but that S-guard is kind of in the way as it is. So I have two options. One, I can either go really far back on the knife, or two, I can really choke up on the knife and get in with a grip like this, as far as my, my normal hold goes, in the way that I like to kind of test the ergonomics on the handle. Oh, and it does have a kind of has a choil here that goes all the way up before you get to the sharpened portion of the blade, so you can choke up pretty far on the knife if you want to. So anyways, that's the thing that's kind of weird about this knife for me, is just that S-guard is kind of in the way of where I typically want to hold my hand. Now, I did watch the kind of round table video that Nut and Fancy did with Ed Schempp and Gail Bradley, and I think Tim Perry, or a couple knife makers. Brad Southard was on there. And the way that he holds the knife is he holds the knife like this. He doesn't put his thumb on the top. He has it in kind of a standard hammer grip, and it works well in that position. And something that he said in the video was that most people will need to become accustomed to the handle shape or the ergonomics of this knife in order to really understand the cutting force or the way that it's designed. And again, with the shape of the handle to the blade, when you take this knife in hand, you're going to get a tremendous amount of cutting force on the forward portion of the sharpened edge without having to exert a lot of white knuckle grip or strength to do so, which is obviously one of the benefits of this knife. So just normal cutting, it should be easier without having to white knuckle it. So this is the way that he was holding the knife in his hand, and I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with the design as far as having that S-guard in the back. It's a very attractive feature, and I think my issue is that I don't quite understand it because I haven't used it enough to kind of get used to just the hammer grip. Again, I like to put my thumb on the back here. So for a lot of you, that's something that you're going to possibly have to get used to, and it's either going to make it or break it for you. So I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to give it some time. I'm going to try to get used to the way that holding it in just a standard kind of hammer grip here and working with it. So anyhow, again, Ed Schempp's, his designs are very much function over form, and he's been designing knives for quite a long time, so I think it's just something I'm going to have to get used to and figure out how to use well and become accustomed to it, just as he said, so we'll see. All right, now, here we are against the Spyderco Navaja. So the two, let's see if we can get a relative dimensions here. So the Bowie is a little bit smaller than the Navaja. It's got a little bit shorter handle, and then the difference is with this knife, it has a ramp in the back, so I can put my thumb exactly where I want it, either choking back on the knife or coming all the way up on that large choil there. So again, this knife is I'm much more accustomed to it with that kind of hammer grip with my thumb on top, or you can choke back. But again, the Ethnic series represents something that's interesting, something that's exciting, be it the Navaja, which I love, and this is a knife that I've thought about selling but just never could, or the new Bowie here, which is again just beautiful. There's a lot of similarities between the two. Faux carbon fiber handles. They both use bolsters. This is stainless steel. This is brass. Obviously the spider hole forward choil. So certainly you can see Ed Schempp's design influence between both of these knives. So, but for me, ergonomically, this one is a bit more what I'm used to. And again, we'll just see how I adapt to this particular knife in the hand. But again, I really like it. It's just so attractive to me personally. So anyways, hopefully that gives you guys some idea, something to think about with this particular knife. It's priced very competitively. It's certainly in a good range for those of you looking for a new EDC option. It'll function beautifully. Again, Tai Chung is just phenomenal when it comes to Spyderco production knives. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and you can also follow me on Instagram under the same username, Epic Snuggle Bunny. So take care. See ya.